What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great start to your week. How could you not after a great draft like we just had this past weekend? I want to thank all of you that tuned into all the coverage, watched all the live videos, the shorts, the breakdowns, everything, man. You guys were awesome. Sorry my internet has sucked the entire time, but doing everything I can. Just got done driving 7 hours. Wanted to put this out earlier. Didn't realize I had an appointment early this morning till I got up today, so it just made everything crazy. So I do apologize for that. But we broke down the draft. Hopefully you were able to go check that out. It was an awesome draft. I just go check it out. Gave it a pretty high grade there myself. And, in my opinion, the best receiver in the draft. Get a tight end you want. Maybe the tackle of the future. Get a quarterback that's a project. Maybe you can use him in some fun packages like Taysom Hill. Talk about Micah Morris providing some depth on the line. Cole Wisniewski, a safety, right? Uar Bernard, maybe we find the next guy from a different country, just like we did with Jordan Mailata that's never played football. So Uar Bernard, best of luck to you. Then Keyshawn James Newby, another one of my top fits. So we got 5 top fits here that we talked about before the draft. Really excited to see these guys. Love to hear your thoughts on those. Go check out that show. And we talked about the draft picks. Excited for the future here. Howie, I'm sure, will wheel and deal and move all of those picks around. It'll be completely different by this time next year. So I hope you enjoyed all of that coverage, though. But here tonight, we're going to talk about the undrafted free agent signings. And I also have the list of the rookie minicamp invites. So these guys will be invited to the rookie minicamp, and maybe they find themselves winning a spot over some of these other guys. So let's take a gander here. And I appreciate you all taking the time, hit the like button, sharing, subscribing. You have any thoughts on this stuff? Any of these players stick out to you? I would love to hear your thoughts. But here is the full list of undrafted free agent signings so far. And you can see only a couple on offense. Got ourselves a long snapper, baby. So we got a special teamer. And then you got a bunch on defense there. So we're going to go through and we're going to break them down like we do every year. I know a lot of you guys look forward to this show. I always look forward to this show. Never know what kind of diamond in the rough. And right off the bat, looks like someone might already make the team in Rocco Underwood because we don't have a long snapper. So just wanted to point that out. But let's get into this here and let's start it off with the defense. We usually go with offense. Let's go defense. We got a bunch of them. And we got the safeties, right? We got a bunch of safeties. We needed that. Got ourselves a guy, 5'10", 181, little undersized there, 4'5". And look, he played both safety spots, so he fits that versatility mold of being able to play both. He's somebody that I think he actually is a pretty good tackler from what I saw. And look, it's very limited here with this guy, but I just kind of think it's more of the development. Doesn't really have like that ball hawking cut. I didn't really see it. Didn't have the top end range to really be somebody I thought made an impact. But again, you never know. Maybe shows out on special teams. Hey, man, Tucker Large out of Washington State, spent a couple of years at South Dakota State first, but somebody that actually can return the ball as well. So maybe not necessarily the most ball hawkiest of them, but he did have a few interceptions the last couple of years. So it's in there. It just didn't show up last year. And when you're at Washington State, you kind of want to see more of that. 0 interceptions, 0 forced. So, I mean, again, maybe in the right system, Vic Fangio unlocks something. You never know. But best of luck to Tucker Large there. And then another safety, and I'm really excited about this kid. I like what I've seen from Kapena Gashikin here. And this is a kid that, that safety that can play that nickel cornerback kind of role. Runs a 4.3 340 at Ole Miss, so that kind of stands out to me. But 5'10", 189. And look, man, I'm not here to tell you you're too small to play in the NFL. I have no idea. But gave up 29 receptions on 49 targets there. Had an interception, 5 passes deflected here. But again, you're finding these guys undrafted because they do have, these things against them that somebody that's not, again, long range, deep coverage kind of guy. And as much as you could say, you run a 4.3 or Tucker Large had interceptions in years prior, what are you doing now at what level? And, at that size, you better be doing a lot. And he's very physical. I kind of liken him to, and I heard someone else saying something too about Sidney Brown. And it's like, yeah, kind of one of those just hair on fire and great for special teams, right? But you don't know how that translates, and I haven't seen it in the coverage part. So, yeah, that's why he's undrafted here. But I like Kashikin and love to hear your thoughts if you're a fan of any of those two or this final safety here, Maximus Poli. And I think a name like that, people are going to like him right off the bat. But 5'11", 200 pounds, little older, 24, went to Western Kentucky before going to Wofford there, and 4'4", 540. And this is a ball hawk right here. He's got great instincts. And this is somebody that obviously playing at a smaller school has a potential, even if you're really good, to not get drafted. So, hey, man, we found Darius Cooper last year. You just don't know. 5 interceptions, 10 passes deflected, 3 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, had a defensive touchdown. I'm all in, man. Let's go here, Maximus. I'd really like to see this kid, anybody step it up. We've got a bunch of undrafted kids battling it out anyway, and a bunch of older veterans. So the safety position, we'll see if we trade for anybody or what we decide to do. Now that there's, it doesn't affect the comp formula, maybe we sign somebody. We'll see. But, yeah, Maximus Poli, I am a fan of the young man. Now, we did get a couple of linebackers as well. We talk about having a little bit of depth back there with the injury to Campbell, having some camp bodies, having some special teamers. So we go get Isaiah King out of Idaho here, 6'3", 215. And, yeah, man, I think 4.66. It's an off-ball kind of linebacker. He's got a high motor, just doesn't really get off the block too well. Don't think he covers too well. So this is just kind of a guy that comes in on special teams. Let's see what you can do here, man. A blitzing linebacker. But I think for me, they talk about him and what I saw. He's kind of undersized, dude. So special teams, and I don't know how much you are going to fare as a safety in this league, especially with 4.66 speed and the limitations I saw. So, yeah, he's gonna have a lot to work on. But hey, go show out on special teams, and we'll see what you got. But there is a linebacker here that I really was excited to see that we signed out of Alabama, Deontay Lawson. Now, this is a guy that has starting potential, and I heard a lot of people were pretty high on him. I had him around the 5th, 6th range, but some people had him a lot higher, 3rd, I heard 4th round. That's a little wild for me, but a very high IQ. We're always looking for those high football IQ kind of guys, and he's a very physical player, a run-stuffing monster, but he just doesn't have that elite athleticism. I just think that, and a lot of people look for that. That's what they're really looking for. And a couple of injuries here and there, maybe that dropped him too. But 4.6 speed, not the fastest guy in the world. He's 23, so not the youngest. But to me, I just think that this kid, he's got an all-around game. And sure, his coverage isn't the greatest, but why not, dude? Undrafted signing. You're not even drafting these kids. You know what I mean? So you're bringing a kid with a great pedigree. He's got that dog in him that we're looking for, man. So I like Deontay Lawson. Hopefully he can come in here. Going to be competing with Chance Campbell and a bunch of other guys you'll see in a second here. I'm so excited to see this linebacker battle at the back end there for depth. Now, the final defensive player is another international player who has never played football. And he's out of Kenya. And this dude, a little bit skinnier, but 6'4", 244, another athletic freak. So, okay, now 4'4", 540. Hell yeah, that's even faster than the guy we actually drafted. So you've got Wayru here, and this dude, I've heard maybe interior D-line, not at that size, but he's got some pretty damn good, from the couple things I saw. He's got some pretty good bend there. He's got the length. You can see that. He's got the actual physical traits you want, but it's just about, can you mold him to be an NFL player? So, again, just like drafting someone in the 7th round, why the hell not? Give it a shot. He's not going to count against your roster or practice squad, so go find out, man. And, you're bringing in these kids that are just athletic freaks, and I'm all about it. We all know how it worked out with Jordan Mailata, so let's go. Now, special teams got a little love here as well, so I'm all about that. 6'3", 231. We've got ourselves Rocco Underwood. Had a fumble recovered there. But, look, the only kicker that was drafted was the kicker that he was snapping to, and Trey Smack from Florida. So that's pretty much what I got on you for Rocco Underwood. But, look, just come out here, dude. Make sure Jake Elliott's comfortable. Make sure Braden Mann's comfortable. Do your thing and show up if you're ever, God forbid, need to tackle. He's got more tackles than anyone we saw from those long snappers. So, best of luck to him. But yeah, don't got much on him there. Now, on to the offense. We only got two, but we got ourselves a guard. And this dude, well, his nickname is Hulk. So I'm already in. 6'5", 327. Dude's a monster. An anchor. They talk about just a mauler. I'm all about that. Now, kind of lacks the quickness and kind of gets beat by the faster guys. So don't like that. But 1 sack allowed, 2 pressures, and 1 penalty. That's not bad at all, man. And, playing in the SEC, hey, dude, that's great competition there. So, look, he predominantly played right guard. This is a guard, right? He's going to be playing at right guard. He's not going to be a tackle. This is a guy that I think has a chance. There's definitely a lot of competition here in the offensive line. And, again, a kid from Alabama, didn't get drafted. I'm all about bringing him in. Now, last but not least, one of my top fits from the pre-draft show, and we talked about it. Could we find him in that 5th, 6th? Does he fall into the 7th? Well, didn't even get drafted. So, hell yeah, we get Daquan Wright. And, man, I am so excited about this. You guys remember we talked about him a few weeks ago on that show. And, look, I talked about why you would have to get a tight end, and then he could be your second tight end. So, we already got one in Stowers. Not exactly a blocking tight end, but regardless, Stowers has a great future ahead of him. I'm very excited. But Daquan Wright here, we talk about his athleticism. We talk about him being that guy as a receiver, and that's exactly what it is. Maybe he could play a little bit of H-back too. The blocking, though, is something I talked about, and he had some previous drops. Now, one last year, but before that, enough to make you a little scared. So, hey, if he's worked on that, cleaned things up, he's only 22, hell yeah. He's 6'4", 246. Bulk him up a little bit here. This dude could be your steal of the undrafted pool. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased because he was one of my top fits. Yes, I do like him. But the fact that I thought this dude was going to get drafted and is sitting here, and now, to be fair, some people thought, Lawson was going to be drafted in the 3rd round. That's wild, but he didn't even get drafted. So it just goes to show. You never know. And like I said with Wright, just that lack of being able to block is going to hurt you. But if you're in a position where you're able to learn, which he is here, hell yeah. Now, look, we've got room for a fullback / H-back type role. Carson Steele is here. Cameron Latou. There's a bunch of guys. And we're going to look at the list here. But I think Daquan Wright is going to be a very fun name to watch this offseason. So definitely check him out. But we also have some guys that are coming in for the rookie minicamp. And it's a bunch. So I figured, here's the list. I'm not going to make you a graphic for all these guys because they're not on the damn team. So, yeah, you got to be on the team to get a graphic. If you make the team, I will make you one. But got Elijah Green here. That's more of like your one-cut downhill kind of thumper. I think, adding competition, all about it. Kind of more of like an upright kid that I just didn't see it from him. So that's why he's undrafted. Monte Moro. Got a 6'3" dude in here, runs about a 4.5 40, a mid 4.5. And look, he's a big dude. He's got a big catch radius. He's a physical player, somebody you could use in the red zone. But, his route running, his route tree, him getting separation, speed, just not there for me. But, hey, you don't have to have those things. If you just put them all together and you're a good receiver, only time will tell. But, we added another receiver in Brandon Hayes out of southeastern Louisiana, 5'11", 185, runs a 4.45 40. And look, this is a quick little dude and somebody I think that will help you with the dinking and dunking of the West Coast. He's got some yak ability there, but definitely a little bit smaller, not going to win you much, and he's not exactly like a deep threat. So when you're smaller, you kind of hope they have that, but doesn't really have much of any of that. So no doubt. Then JT Byrne, coming from Georgia Tech, 6'5", 250. This is a dude that is brought in for blocking. This is a blocking tight end, and I'm all about it. Go surprise some people, dude. Come out there, knock some people on their ass, but he's not an explosive type receiver or anything. But JT Byrne, go get you some. Then a bunch of defensive guys, TJ Burke out of Lehigh there, 6'2", 290. That's like a more of your pass rushing type D tackle there. So, hey, best of luck to him. Declan Williams from Incarnate Word. I don't know why it always changed, or maybe I just put World in my head. But Incarnate Word, he is the son of Mitch Williams, dude. Wild thing, which is nuts and tells me how damn old I am. But he's, a 4'6", 40 kind of guy, a rangy linebacker. He does have, some quickness to him. He's a damn good tackler. He can cover a little bit. So this is a guy that I think definitely needs to add some bulk to him, needs to strengthen up a little bit, work on his sideline to sideline skills, work on his just getting off the block and stuff. So he's got some work to do, but man, it'd be awesome to have him as a special teamer making this team. Then you've got an array of corners here. You got Dante Bell, 6'2" dude, who's more of your long boundary type corner, lengthy dude, physical guy. I like him, but doesn't really have the speed and has a lot of penalties. Then you got Earby from Boise State, 4'4", 540s, 5'11", kind of more of your nickel corner back there. But he's got a high football IQ, just kind of lacks the size and kind of gets beat the hell up by bigger receivers. Lamondre Joe here out of Colorado State. That's somebody I think fits this system. He's got a good football IQ, good awareness. I think he's got the size of 6 foot, but he's 190. He just doesn't really have the speed. And just didn't see much from him. Amarian McCoy out of SMU, 6 foot, 185, 440. He's a dude. This is a guy that's very physical. This is another one that could surprise you here. But again, this is kind of like with Sidney Brown, where maybe he's a little too aggressive. So let's work on your technique a little bit, and sky's the limit for Amarian McCoy. Then you got another SMU corner there, and Deuce Harmon, another 6-footer, 195. He's got a little more size on him. And look, this is a guy that I think he gets beat a little too much for my liking at times, but he's also a kid that could surprise you with the right system. And I think Vic Fangio gets his hands on somebody. You never know what could happen. And then you got Brumfield there. This is a 6'1" corner. He runs a 4.52. This is a guy that, he's got some nice length. Mississippi State playing some damn good competition. But, he's got he's a little too tight in the hips, and he absolutely gets burnt too much. So for me, okay, but look, again, these are rookie minicamp invite guys. They're not even the undrafted free agent signings. But look, if you're a fan of any of them, you have any thoughts on any of them, would love to hear from you. But wanted to give you just a little bit on who they are, show you what's going on. But let's take a look at this updated depth chart with these undrafted free agent signings and the draft picks. And you can see the color code at the bottom corner there. Orange is for undrafted. Blue are the draft picks. Green are the free agents or trades. Yellow are the guys that were futures signings. Most came from our practice squad or someone else's. And then the silver just means that they were re-signed or had themselves a new deal. But you see Peyton, the project there, 4th and quarterback. Maybe we use him a little as Taysom Hill. You can see running back is stacked there. Don't really need to add anybody. But I did see, they did have a minicamp kid, so we'll see if he does anything there. But Dameon Pierce, I don't even know if he makes it. So Latu, Steele, they're battling out for like that fullback. We talk about Wright, maybe he dabbles. But wide receiver, we don't know what's going to happen with A.J. Brown, but we have got 11 guys competing right now. Love the Mekhi Lemon pick. Love the pickups of Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, Elijah Moore. So I'm pretty pumped up, man. The front end, Johnny Wilson coming back healthy. Let's go. Tight end, Dallas Goedert back. Love that. Stowers, the future. But need a guy that can block. So he better learn how to block and make us feel a little more comfortable. But you got Munt here for now. He can definitely block. Smart, more of your receiving guy, Calcaterra, Jenkins, Bell, and then Daquan Wright. So you have got a lot of tight ends, hoping Wright, maybe he's that surprise guy that comes out of nowhere and is that tight end of the future. We just found diamond in the rough. And I'm telling you, that's how much I like him. I'm not saying that's who he's going to be, but he could be. Teach him to block just like Eli Stowers. Sky's the limit, baby. Offensive line, you got Morris, you got Bell, so you got some depth there. And then you added Jaden Roberts. I keep doing that. But you can see the offensive line has a lot of competition going on, and maybe you found your tackle of the future in Markel Bell when Lane Johnson goes down. So we'll see. But I'm liking what I see here on the offense. I'm really pumped up. Going to be one of the best offenses in the game. Can't wait to see Lemon and Stowers used. Oh, my Lord. I'm pumped about this offense. Then on the defensive side of the ball, man, oh, man. You've got yourself quite the interior. You just exercised the fifth-year options on Jalen Carter. And then, of course, our edge, Nolan Smith, pumped up there, baby. So let's go. But as you can see, and I thought I updated this. Maybe I put it in wrong. There we go. I knew I had it here, but so I moved it around a little bit. I have UR Bernard there, interior D line. I've got Wayru there at the edge. So I wanted to move that around, but you see the interior stacked. I really like what's going on there. Edge, you added Greenard, who, yes. Now, I don't know however you want to have it, but Smith, Hunt, Greenard, yes. Ebiketie, love that as the fourth guy. And then Joe, Tryon, Shoyinka, Ramirez, James Newby, Wayroot, they can all battle it out. Love it. Linebacker, stacked now. Trotter Jr., Munden Jr. can figure it out when Gamble's out, but behind him, you got Campbell, Martin, King, and Lawson. So lots of competition. Secondary, oh, well, yes. Dude, the corners, Tyreek Woolen here is insane to me. Doubt Kaylee Ringo makes his team. You've got so much competition here that I love. Mac McWilliams, still young. Jacorian Bennett, another year in the system. Jonathan Jones, the veteran. Really intriguing to see. And then at safety, what are we going to do here? I like Epps. If he's who your starter is, okay. Maybe Michael Carter II can win that job. He's going to be used as a nickel, a safety, all over the place, versatile defensive back. Makuba, I love. I don't know why people are sleeping on him, but okay. But maybe Andre Sam, Cole Wisniewski, maybe one of these other guys, Brandon Johnson, Gashikin, large pulley steps it up. JT Gray's a special teamer, but you've got some safeties, man. You've definitely got 10 guys here that can battle it out. So we've got competition abound. And then even in the special teams department, finally got a long snapper, baby. Excited about that. Yeah, but you've got some return guys as well. And I took out that name. I hate putting in the punt returners. Don't even want to see Cooper DeJean there. So maybe, for emergencies if you ever needed to. But you've got guys in the offseason that are back there for the punt returns. Let's use them. So Mekhi Lemon brings return experience. Now, Moore hasn't dabbled in a while. Marquise Brown doesn't really do it. But these guys, if they're depth pieces and not starting, they need to be figuring out how to return the ball. Let's go. Damian Pierce, Carson Steele, Gray Walker, all these guys have done it before. So that's why they're all in here. And look, may the best man win. I love Shipley and Bigsby there as returners. Covey, you could use an upgrade, but we'll see, man, what the Eagles decide to do. But that is it, man. That is all of your undrafted free agents, your rookie minicamp invites, your updated depth chart. Go check out the draft show where we broke down the whole draft, gave you a draft grade. Check out any of those videos. Would love to hear from you. But I'll give you the rookie cap hits, the castaways, all that stuff coming your way as we do each year. My favorite pickups. I will rank the offseason additions. We'll do all that fun stuff. But all I've got for you here tonight. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, share this bad boy, subscribe, join the family down below. All the things you do to support the channel, I really cannot thank you enough. I hope you're all having a great start to your week. If you need me, you can always reach out. Always here for you guys as you are for me. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, sickos. Go Birds!